Hello and welcome to the IP Study video lecture. The chapter we are going to cover today is transportation of materials in plants and animals. The topics we are going to cover are transportation of material in plants, transportation of materials in animals, composition of blood, blood transfusion, lymphatic system of the human body and excretion. If I show you this pen and ask you, how would you get this pen? How would I get this pen? How would this pen reach from the factory to me? Most of you will simply answer via transportation. How is transportation done? A vehicle reached the factory via road, it reached to the shop and then we bought it home, right? Similarly, transportation also occur in our body. But the question rises, what is the need for the transportation in our body? What things need to be transported? Well, in your previous chapters, you have already studied that plant produce food, glucose is made in the leaf, right? Now, how glucose from the leaf reach to other part of the plants? It reached via transportation through the medium. Similarly, food we eat, how do all the nutrients which we are consuming reach to other parts, to every cell of the body? Similar to the roads in our cities which help us from movement from one place to another, our body also has similar kind of structure. That thing is known as vessels. And in plants, there are also vessels which help for the to and fro, for the movement of the material from one place to another. All this movement, all this transportation is necessary for our survival because things are divided in our body. One part of the body is performing one function and another part of body is performing another function. Their communication and transportation is necessary so that a whole part of the body, so that a complete body get all the nutrients and necessary material for their performance. Say for example, food which we eat goes through our digestive system. How can that food which produce energy, nutrients in our body can reach to the respiratory system? So, in case of unicellular organisms like amoeba and bacteria, these organisms do not require a structured roadmap for the transportation of the material as they are single celled and a single cell is performing every function. However, in multicellular organisms like plants and animals, single cell is not performing all the function. Different cells are designated to perform different functions. So, structured transportation is necessary for them. So, what are the materials that need to be transported? Materials like oxygen, nutrients, these are need to be transported in the human being. Similarly, there are some materials that needs to be expelled out from our body. These are the byproducts of various mechanisms occurring in the body. So, that also need a route to expelled out from the body. So, all this movement from one place to another, from intake to exhaled, is done via a process known as transportation. In case of the unicellular organisms like bacteria and amoeba, these are the single-celled organisms. They only one cell do all the performance, so they do not need a structured roadmap for the transportation. However, in the case of multicellular organisms, system is far more complicated. Reason being, there are so many cells and each cell have designated duty to perform. However, all the cells need basic materials for their existence. So, transportation is necessary in these cases. Let us start with transportation of material in plants. You are already aware that based on the stem size, plants are divided as trees, shrubs and herbs. In case of the trees, there is long stem, so transportation required more effort compared to the shrubs and herbs which have a small stem, so less energy is required to transport material from one place to another. Now when we are talking about the plants, it is important to know what things are transported in plants. Since plants produce food with the process known as photosynthesis, they required carbon dioxide, water and minerals. Water and minerals are supplied from the soil via roots to the leaves. So material which is mainly transported in the plants is water and minerals, and once photosynthesis occurs, food is formed, then food is transported from leaves to other part of the plants. Let us understand about the transportation of water and minerals. You are already aware that water contains the dissolved minerals in it. They are present in the soil. Roots absorb that material through root hairs and then transported it to the other part of the leaves. Some of the common minerals which are required by the plants are magnesium, potassium, phosphorus, calcium. These are necessary and need to be transported. If any of the nutrient is not present in the plant become deficient and will not have proper growth. So, how transportation occur in trees or other plants? Transportation occurs through vascular system which consists of two narrow tubes known as xylem and phloem. So, like human beings, there is a system present in plants also. That transportation system in human beings, system is known as circulatory system. However, in plants it is known as vascular system. Why? Because it consists of two vascular bundles known as xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem both are tubes which allow the movement of the material from them. So, what does xylem transport? Xylem transport water and minerals. However, phloem transport food prepared by the leaves. So, how xylem and phloem transport material from one place to another? If you take a stem or a root and you cut it, you will observe that a stem or root, they have this kind of structure, small holes like this. These circular pores is known as vascular bundles. Similarly, if you take a stem and cut it in the straight manner like this, in a vertical manner, you will observe that this hole consists of tubes formation. Small tubes are present. These tubes, if you can focus on this area, these tubes are xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem appear side by side. One is for the water, another is for the food. This is the enlarged view of xylem and phloem. This is xylem. There is a connection between two with the help of cambium, and then this is phloem. So what happened? These tubes are present all over the plant. So when root absorb water from the soil, this is the soil where water is present. Root absorb this water, and in the main root, these xylem and phloem are present. What happened? Water enter this xylem and phloem, move to reach the xylem and phloem of the stem part. From stem, it reached to the leaves. Similarly, when leaves form the food, these leaves consist of a small cambium. Similarly, xylem and phloem. From xylem and phloem of the leaves, it reached to the stem, and from stem, it reached to the roots via phloem. So basically, xylem and phloem is present all over the body of the plant, similar to the nerves present all over our human body. And from there, these xylem and phloem are connected throughout the body, so they easily transport material to all part of the body. One of the important thing which you need to understand, what help xylem to pull the water. It is pulled with the help of a transpiration and the pressure caused by the absorption of the water. What is transpiration? Transpiration is the process of removal of the water from the leaves in the form of a water vapor. What happened? Like I have told you earlier, that from the roots, water move inside the stem, and from stem it reach to the leaves through the xylem present all over the body of the plant. Similarly, from the leaves, it reach to the stem, and from stem it reach to the roots of the plant with the help of a phloem. So how this movement can be done easily? This movement is done with the help of a transpiration. What is transpiration? Transpiration is the process in which water is removed from the leaves in the form of a water vapor. What happened? On the surface of the leaves, stomata are present. From that stomata, water is constantly removing. When water is removing, the earlier area become empty. When earlier area become empty, the water present at the lower area move to that empty place. In this form, a chain is formed where movement is constant. Similar phenomena occur in the transportation. Food is moved in the downward formation, even in the upward formation. The movement of food from leaves to the root is known as translocation. Now that you are aware of the transportation in the plants, let us study the transportation material in animals. Transportation in animals is far more complicated than the transportation in plants. Here, a circulatory system is present which helps in the transportation of oxygen and other nutrients from one part of the body to another part. This circulatory system consists of the heart, blood vessels and blood. If you focus on this image, you can see that this is the structure of the circulatory system in our body. It comprises of heart. These are the blood vessels, and inside the blood vessel, blood is flowing. Blood is the main medium through which all the material are transported. Some of the common material transported from one place to another are oxygen, carbon dioxide, food, waste. And in this process, it also helps in the regulation of our body temperature. So, if I ask you why circulatory system is important, you can simply say that it helps in not only transportation but also in the regulation of our body temperature. Let us now take each component of the circulatory system one by one. First is human heart. So, where is human heart? If I ask you to place your hand like this, you will experience something is producing sound. There is some movement over here. So, what is this movement? What is making this movement? Heart. Our heart is constantly pumping. If you can sit in a silence, you can hear even the sound of the pumping. So, what is the size of the heart? Heart is of fist size. It is around 250 to 300 grams. Our heart is divided into 4 chambers. Upper 2 chambers are known as atrium and lower 2 chambers are known as ventricles. All these are separated by the walls. In the heart is connected to the blood vessels known as arteries and veins. These blood vessels are responsible for transportation of blood in it. The arteries consist of the pure blood, oxygenated rich blood. However, veins consist of the deoxygenated blood, means carbon dioxide rich blood. Arteries are thick walled, veins are thin walled. You can clearly see the difference between arteries and vein. One is deep seated, another is present superficial. Arteries is thick walled, veins are thin walled. So, if you are seeing the blue colored veins in your blue colored thing in your body, that is vein. So, what mechanism occur in the heart? Let us understand. What happened? Veins from all over the body take the impure blood in it, which is deoxygenated blood, and that blood enters in the right atrium of the heart. What is atrium? It is the upper chamber of the heart. From right atrium, it reaches to the right ventricle. From right ventricle, it moves to the lungs. What happened in the lungs? In lungs, carbon dioxide is taken out from the blood and oxygen is given back to the blood. And then blood becomes oxygenated. This oxygenated blood enters the left atrium. And from left atrium, it reaches to the left ventricle. And from left ventricle, it moves out and supplies to all over the body. Now that you have aware of the blood vessels and the heart, another important component of the circulatory system is the blood. Blood is the red color material which comes out of our body. If you have observed that if you get any cut in your body, red thing oozes out from that place. That red thing is our blood. Blood consists of a fluid material known as plasma, and red blood cells are responsible for giving its red color because it consists of a pigment known as hemoglobin. Our blood consists of three types of cells: red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Red blood cells have consist of hemoglobin which bind to the oxygen and help in transportation of oxygen throughout the body. What are white blood cells? White blood cells help in fighting the infection in our body. It fights with the bacteria or any other microorganism entering our body. And what are blood platelets? So one of the important role of the blood platelet is that it prevents the bleeding. So whenever we get any cut, then these platelets reach to that area and make a plug in it so that blood cannot oozes out of our body. If blood continues bleed out of our body, it may be fatal for us and we even may die. So important role of the blood platelets is clotting of the blood. Clotting means the stoppage of the blood out of the body. What happens if there is no clotting of the blood? If there is if there is a large injury and blood platelets are not enough to continue work in a pace required to stop the bleeding. In those cases, people have heavy blood loss and they need blood transfusion. Blood transfusion is a mechanism in which external blood is provided externally to the body so that blood loss can be prevented. How blood transfusion can be done? Blood transfusion is done by checking which type of blood each person have. So there are main 4 blood groups, which is A, B, AB and O. There are 4 in every person. Either we have a A blood group, B, AB or O. First, doctor needs to check which kind of blood group is present in the body, and based on that they supply the blood group to the person. The person who is giving the blood is donor and the person who is receiving the blood is receiver. Now that you have studied the circulatory system, there is one more type of system where transportation occur, which is known as lymphatic system. So what is lymphatic system? What happened? There are 2 types of mainly blood vessels, arteries and veins. And apart from this, arteries and veins are connected by another blood vessel which is known as capillaries. When there is transportation of blood, the liquid portion of the blood, which is plasma, it often oozes out from the capillaries. That plasma entered the lymphatic system. It enters the lymphatic vessel, where it is filtered through the lymph nodes and then it's re-entered to the veins. If you can observe carefully, this picture shows the lymphatic vessel. These small nodes are lymph nodes. They are present along with the circulatory system. Now that you are aware of the things which are transported in our body, it is important to understand the things which are expelled out from the body. And the system responsible for the expelling of the body waste material from the body is excretory system. So let us understand excretion. What happened? Our body is undergoing various mechanisms, and in each mechanism some waste products are produced, such as carbon dioxide in breathing, water, salt, urea and uric acid. If these waste material get deposited in our body, it can become poisonous for us. It can be toxic. So it is important for us to remove them on regular basis. So the phenomena of the removal of these waste from the body is known as excretion. Why do we need to excrete? Well, one of the important things to excrete is to be survive. For our survival, it is important to remove waste. Like it is simply, you can understand by the process that we regularly clean our home. Why do we need to clean our home? So that prolonged accumulation of dust can become harmful for us and we become unhealthy. So we clean our house to stay healthy. Similarly, we need to clean our body to remain healthy. What are the common materials removed from our body? It is carbon dioxide, water and undigested food material, which is removed in the form of feces from anus. You have already studied the digestive system, where you see that anus is present at the end of the digestive tract, from where feces is removed. Water is removed in the form of sweat and carbon dioxide is removed via breathing. excretion is not restricted to living human beings. It is occurring in all the living beings, whether it is plants or other animals. All animals have their special medium through which they remove waste. For example, small animals, amoeba, hydra sponges, they have small vacuoles in them through which waste material is removed. For in case of the human being, there is a special excretory system. What are the material of this excretory system? Excretory system consists of two kidneys and connected through ureter to the urinary bladder. So kidney are the main two organs. There are two kidneys. They are the main organ through which filtration of the blood is done. Once it is filtered, waste material reach to the urinary bladder via ureter. In urinary bladder, it is removed in the form of urine, and urine is stored in the urinary bladder and it comes out through the process micturition. What does urine basically contain? It contains water and salt. So how sweat is our waste material? Sweating is the process in which water, salt, urea and other material are removed from our skin. There are sweat glands present in our body which get activated, and when we run or when we perform certain activities, sweat comes out. It contains all the excessive material. In our skin there are so many pores, so many sweat glands are present. So whole our skin acts as an organ of removal of the waste. If I ask you what will happen if our kidneys stop working? Well, if our kidneys stop working, waste will not be removed from our body and toxicity will increase in our body. So, in cases when kidneys do not perform properly, there is an artificial medium through which blood can be purified, and this phenomena is known as dialysis. Dialysis is a mechanism in which artificial machine is attached to the body. Our blood moves into that machine, get clean and re-enter our body. Now that you are aware of the excretion in animals, let us go to the excretion in plants. If I ask you what is the common waste material of the plant, what will you say? Oxygen. In humans, carbon dioxide is the waste material. However, in plants, oxygen is the waste material and carbon dioxide is the important material. Why it is important? Because it is utilized in the photosynthesis. In that process only, oxygen is produced which is not utilized by plants. It is removed through stomata. Along with the oxygen, water vapor is also removed from the stomata which is present in the leaves. In addition to this, there are some waste material which is converted into crystals. These are calcium oxalate and calcium carbonate crystals which are stored all over the body of the plants, such as bark, leaves, fruits, and are removed naturally when these parts of the body are detached from the plants. In addition to this, plants also produce certain materials like resin, gum, natural rubber and essential oils. All these are the waste material for the plant. However, these materials are the important raw material for human beings. So basically we remove these material from the plants for our purpose, and for them it is waste. It can either remove from the plant naturally or from industrial purposes we remove them. Now that you have already studied about the transportation in plants, let us go recall them one by one. Plants and animals are the multicellular organisms. Multicellular organisms have a specialized organ for special functions. Plants and animals have well-developed transport system for transportation of materials. Xylem and phloem are conducting tissues in the plants. Xylem and phloem are the conducting tissue in plants. Xylem transport water and minerals. However, phloem transport food. Blood has three types of cells: red blood cell, white blood cells and blood platelets. Artery carry the blood from heart to other parts of the body. Vein carries the blood from other parts of the body to the heart. Capillaries are the thin tubes which connect arteries and veins. Heart is the pumping organ and the normal heartbeat is 70 to 72 times per minute. That's all for today. We will continue with another topic in another lecture. Thank you.